Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of D-List Diaries.
Hello, hello. The light is lighting today for
We're
those of
doing
you that can see us.
some daytime recording action, so we're getting that natural sunlight. But Gina, we haven't seen each other virtually. We've actually seen each other in person more than virtually recently.
That is true. I don't know when the last virtual one was. It's been a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks, and I know we skipped last week because we had a little bit of family situations going on, but everything's all good. And now we are here to give you a full dating show or marriage show reality recap because we have been watching and we have some thoughts.
And we genuinely decided to, excuse me, it's morning. We genuinely decided to record in the morning because there's just so much to share this week on all the dating and marriage shows. So we couldn't wait another minute.
I know. And I was thinking of having Chris back on like he was on for the last episode because he saw me getting so heated watching these shows. But I was like, Gina and I need some girl time to talk.
I love that Chris gets so invested.
Oh my God, he's more invested.
Yeah, the guys love these shows.
Yeah. You said your man wanted to watch it.
My boyfriend was even like, he had an event, last night. And so that's when we watched the Love is Blind shows, like all the weddings that hopefully everyone has seen by now. But he was like, no, you're not watching those without me, right? Like the guys love it.
They do. So yes, we are going to share some spoilers. So if you have not watched the Love is Blind weddings or the Married at First Sight last episode, then spoiler alert. We have not watched the finale yet because the finale has not aired. It will air by the time this episode comes out, but tune in next week for our next episode where we discuss the Love is Blind reunion. So many things to keep up with, but
everybody always looks so good on reunions.
Yeah, but I feel like the shows recently have had such a long time in between filming, ending, and reunion. So there's also that stark like reunion glow up difference. Whereas for us,
we had
it was
it.
like, well, we had, we finished filming in like October and then reunion was March. So we had glow up time, but I feel like these have had a year plus in between.
Well, I also think that by the time you film the reunion, you know what you look like on TV. So you're like, I need to like adjust that.
Fix your face.
Yeah, fix your face.
Not with fillers and stuff, but like.
This is what makeup looks good on me. Like, let's not do my hair
this is how it should not
way.
sit.
Exactly, yeah.
Very funny, but let's get into it. Should we start with the one that aggravates us the most or ease into it?
I don't know. I've got a little aggravation with both of them, but definitely way more with Married at First Sight, for sure.
So why don't we start with Love is Blind? Because we have a lot more to say, I think, about Married at First Sight. So Love is Blind, we haven't talked about the season at all because quite frankly, I was bored the entire season. Up until the end, boring.
It was boring. Do you think that's what people thought about ours?
I do.
We were the Minnesota Love is Blind crew.
We were the Minnesota.
Cheers.
And I feel bad because I've said this before, but I feel like we're the problem. Like we always say we don't want it to be drama and we want love stories, but I don't really want to see mean drama or people fighting, but I want something. Like give us a conflict. Give us something that you're working through. The biggest thing we saw was like, he unfollowed me on Instagram and we don't go to the same church. It's like, okay.
It is us.
It is literally.
We didn't even unfollow. We were like, it's fine. It is though. I think, gosh, I don't even remember people's names ever, except for Taylor and Daniel, who I'll like never forget now.
Well, they all look the same. Everyone looked the same this season.
They do. But who was the guy with the Hawaiian shirts, the long hair? Joey,
because Joey and Monica. It's like, it's a friends thing, but they were never together. Anyway, Joey.
I know. I'm like, was that like me and Clint's relationship the whole time? Like they would never actually say, they didn't want to offend each other. So they would just kind of like beat around the bush. She liked him, you could tell. But like in terms of he was just kind of trying to be respectful and nice. So he wouldn't say what he was actually feeling, which is like, I don't like her. Like, I don't like say it, but I don't really like her.
I think she liked him, not enough to marry him, but she was like, if he likes me enough to marry me, we might as well do it and then we'll figure it out. Because
she wants to be married.
Like borderline into it. So I think she was like, we could try it. Why not? But I say this honestly every season about Love is Blind. The irony of it is that I don't think most, like 95% of couples who don't work on the show, it has nothing to do with looks, which is crazy because the concept, they fall in love without seeing each other, but you rarely see it happens, but you rarely see couples like, the attraction just isn't there, but it's just everything else. So I'm like, what did you talk about in the pods?
Yeah.
Because my thought process is if you're falling in love, quote unquote, in these pods, everything should be a match. And then hopefully the looks are a match.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. Huh.
It's never the looks. Not that I want it to be, but you never see it's like, we just don't have the attraction.
Yeah, you would think it's like, oh God, now I saw them. But there was, I think that was it Nick and Hannah?
Yeah.
She saw him and was like, no. Like, you could tell it was immediate looks.
And I think that one was more of, not only do I not like how you look, but you also made me think you look differently than you do. Yeah, so not only do I not like it, but he's like, disappointed.
I'm a Titans player. Like,
yeah.
That's not.
I'm a 6'8" big guy.
That's not what I envisioned in a Titans player, but okay.
But for this season, I'm truly shocked there was only one couple that made it. And ironically, they're the one couple from the start that we were made to believe wouldn't make it because of Instagram.
They got us. The editors really got us there.
They did. But a lot of these issues felt like core value issues, which I totally respect. Like if your values are not aligned, dating for years isn't going to change that. But again, what did you talk about in the pods?
Yeah, I would think that would be like
number one. If that's so important to you, if the church you go to, your politics, your views on all these different social causes, important things. But why did you leave the pods knowing these things and then decide afterwards, oh, we just can't make it work?
What's her name too?
Sarah and Ben. Them I remember.
She just drove me bananas. Only because, like, I get it. You're strong in your social beliefs or whatever. Like, I understand that. But I almost felt like the reason that he wasn't, she almost made him seem apathetic towards his beliefs. When in reality, I think she was so strong that I think he was almost nervous to share his beliefs because he liked her. And he knew that if he shared his beliefs, then she's going to disagree and make it very obvious that she disagrees and that he should agree with her. And that's just going to be uncomfortable. She just drove me crazy.
And then he has to defend himself.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't have to defend your beliefs. You can explain why you feel something, but I feel like he was always on the defense. Like, oh, I'm really sorry my church doesn't meet up to this. And I'm really sorry I didn't do that. But
because she wasn't welcoming or accepting of his. It was like, oh, well, I don't do that. So I need someone that falls into the mold of what I do. And my sister's lesbian. So if you're not going to Pride, we can't, like, I get it. Like, that's great. But like, even at the altar, like he didn't even share really anything after she cut it off. It was just like, my views don't align. Okay, bye. Like,
right.
Well, what about my views? Like, okay, well.
I always say with couples like that, like you have your bar and it's totally fine to not lower your bar or accept people who aren't up to that standard. But when she is even older than she is now and still single because she can't find someone to meet that bar, no one will be surprised. And that sounded really mean. I didn't mean it as harsh as I said it, but I always feel like the people who have the highest standards and are unwilling to compromise are the ones who just never find someone because you can't find someone who totally aligns with every single thing. And if they do, you're marrying you in another version. And what are we doing? I don't know.
Yeah,
my personal opinion, but it was weird.
And maybe it was like an editing thing and he did share after, you know what I mean? Like we are familiar with the listening shots. We get it. But I just felt like the way she would come in with her morals and like the way that her like social justice stuff and everything that she believed in, which is awesome, but the way she came in was like a little bit condescending and kind of hot to the point where okay, he's kind of just gonna not say anything because he doesn't want to offend her, and doesn't want to like potentially start an argument if he doesn't believe what she believes or has. He was trying so hard to be open-minded, I feel too, like, oh well, we don't have to go to church, even though that's something that's like super important for him. So I don't know, the whole time I was like, all right, I'm fast forward, I don't like this. Like,
yeah, every episode felt like she was convincing herself to like him, and you shouldn't go into a marriage. So I will say, even though I have my issues with how she handled everything, I do respect that she didn't go through with the marriage because it seemed like he was going to say yes. And I feel like that just would have ended in disaster. But it's a crazy concept coming from someone who married a stranger and had their family and friends there. But and I know everything's contracts, whatever, but I cannot imagine having, it looks like they had at least 20 people each,
Oh,
which
it
was
was
more than our
big.
12.
Yeah.
Huge. So I can't imagine having 20 of my closest friends putting on a wedding dress, getting all dolled up, making my mom and dad and walk me down the aisle, knowing I'm going to say no. And again, I know a lot of it is the point of the show, but she knew she was going to say no. I don't believe that it was like a game time decision. So I just can't imagine doing that. Like when we did it, you never know. You could be at the wedding that I'm going to be the man I'm going to be married to forever. You might not, but knowing you're going to say no, like
That is such a
feels like
good
a
point,
slap.
because it's like, I don't know. I wonder from a production side if they really try to get them to go through with the weddings no matter what. Like if they're going to say no, but there's those cases that in our scenario would be like a Mac and Dom case where they're like, no, absolutely not. Like I'll do whatever you want me to, but I'm
Yeah.
not going to do a full wedding. Like I wonder what makes them actually do it if they
I
know.
would think contractual obligation,
But
but
some of them are out of it,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
David and what was her name too? So bad at these
Oh,
names.
I'm married at first sight.
No, 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 no.
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 Oh, Dave. Oh, Lauren.
Yeah, and Lauren, I loved her, but like they didn't have a wedding, and I don't think that the contract makes them clearly because they broke up
Yeah.
beforehand. So what kept Sarah from being like, hey, like the day before or
Yeah.
whatever, being like, I know our views don't align, so we probably shouldn't go through with this wedding. Is it like maybe your producers being like, hey, if you have like, I don't know, maybe they like make them think that they are maybe gonna say yes, so just to do the wedding.
And I feel like it's hard unless you have an obvious, we're not going to make it, we're breaking up issue. Like Lauren and Dave, it's very hard to be like, I'm not even going through with this wedding because that is like a hard no. But I always feel like it should be discussed ahead of time because you can tell he was like, what, why you don't want to marry me? What? And that's just probably such a shitty feeling because he thought he was going to leave there married. And I just felt bad for him. It was
And
really
then
upsetting.
Joey and Monica was like so awkward. It was like, okay, well, this was fun. See ya. Like,
Yeah.
like giving like awkward
But
hugs.
them, at least, they were both on the same page,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome because they were both like, I'm not ready. But do you think they'll date after?
He had said something like, I don't really see a future in dating her.
But I wonder what that is.
I also was a little confused because when it went back to like their OTFs or whatever, like after when they were both talking, they almost were like, well, I just felt like if he would have told me that he liked me or like chose me, and then he was like, well, I just kind of got the vibe that she didn't really like me. I'm like, wait, did they both really like each other and they just didn't like vocalize that enough? So then they both
Yeah.
said no and they didn't really clarify that they did like each other. I don't know. Did we miss the boat here?
That's a good point. Because I always feel like it's okay if you're not madly, truly, deeply, head over heels in love after 5 weeks. Like, it's okay to even go through with that marriage and not know this is my person. Like, they're all like, I've never imagined life with anyone else. It's okay to still be a little unsure as long as you're mostly sure. But I feel like they just need more time to get to know each other. Like, I was cool with them not getting married, but I don't want them to just quit everything they started. But again, there could be, to your point, totally. I didn't even think about it. Maybe he was just being respectful, didn't really like her, but had fun with her and wanted to go through the process and see. And it just
Yeah.
wasn't there. But
That's literally
I
it's like
them.
it's like the me and Clint story. We were like, well, let's just go through the process, like knowing that we didn't really like each other the whole time, but it was like, well, maybe something will spark. Let's at least get through the
Yeah.
whole process.
Yeah.
And then we're not going to unless production's like really trying to make us have those conversations, we're not going to be like, well, I just like don't like you. Because it's uncomfortable, It's like
It is.
you don't want to hurt someone's feelings even though they don't like you back. It still is just weird.
And who's going to be the first one to say it? Because whoever goes second is like, well, I don't like you either.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay, really? Oh, yes, you do.
Yeah. Oh, good. You don't like me because I'm not into it.
That's
Yeah.
so
I
true.
think she just wanted it to be something, but it wasn't. And that's okay. But I want them to date just because I feel like there could be something there, but who knows? We'll
Well, no.
see what happens at the reunion.
And I was super shocked by the couple where he said yes and she said no.
I was screaming. We watched Love is Blind first last night, and I started off calm, cool, and collected. No one had aggravated me. Like the girl Sarah, I was annoyed with, but I was like, whatever. I expected this from you. And
So true.
Virginia,
Wouldn't expect
Virginia
anything
saying
less.
no. Yeah, I was like, okay, I
We
knew
knew.
last week when they did the cliffhanger, you were saying no. So get off my screen. I was like, okay, they saved the no, or they did the no, they did the maybe, and now we're going to the 2 yeses. And when Virginia said no, which again, if you're not ready for a marriage, you're not feeling like you have a future with someone, I would rather you say no at the aisle than getting divorced a few months later. But when he started crying, I was hysterical. Like I was heartbroken for him,
I was
for
like,
Devin.
I was like, just get out of there. Get out of there. Go cry in private. Like, this is so sad. Like,
Even her
just walk
dad,
off.
he yelled out. He was like, what?
And he was hugging him at the end. He was like, I'm disappointed too. And then for
It was really upsetting.
them to just like, yeah, I'm interested to see what they say at the reunion, because there was that like preview. She's like, I found a note
Right.
on his dresser or whatever, or text or whatever it was. Like something sketchy happened.
And we know all about the intrigue. Like, I guarantee if she said these things on camera before the wedding, they either didn't show it or they advised her to talk about the things she did like about him, because we didn't see any of that. And then afterwards, even she said they got a wedding check and then he didn't say anything. And my head immediately went to like, maybe he was waiting to see if the wedding happened before he told you. Maybe it slipped his mind, maybe anything. She's like, I don't know if I could trust him now. So I felt like she was taking little things, justifying how she acted. It didn't make sense as a viewer. And I'm sure she has more reasons. But the prenup thing I did want to talk about, because I feel like that was very all over the socials. You know, everyone had an opinion about it. But personally, I'm shocked they don't automatically do prenups, because it was in our contract that we had a prenup.
I wonder if she made like a more in-depth one or something.
Well, as I saw after this was coming out, that our girl Taylor from Taylor and Garrett, she said that they did a prenup. It just wasn't on camera. So I'm assuming Love is Blind people don't automatically have a prenup. But I never understood when people get so bajiggity, like, oh, it means you think we're not going to last. It's like, everyone wants marriage to last, but the statistics show they don't.
Yeah.
Protect
Or
yourselves.
It's
It's
just
a big
common
deal.
sense. Like, it's not a big deal.
Right. Whatever you came in with is yours. Whatever you leave with, we'll figure it out.
And whatever we got
Easy
together,
peasy.
we'll split. Yeah.
Yeah. Marriage is a
It's a
contractual
legal
agreement.
document. Yeah. So
Right.
it's like, why?
So why not?
Yeah. That's always
You wouldn't
weird.
start a business without legal paperwork saying who has what partnership and who gets what. So why would you start a legal marriage that way?
I'm glad we agree on the prenup sitch.
So if you and I ever get married, we'll have a prenup
Very clear cut.
with all our money. We'll split it.
So we both leave with nothing. Just kidding. Oh,
my
man.
gosh. But yeah, I felt so bad for him. But also, I will give a moment to just talk about how beautiful she looked.
So good.
That dress, stunning.
So good.
Like, how are you going to walk down the aisle looking like that and say no to this man?
I know. I was very confused at that. It's almost like she was so upset, like she felt like she didn't. She was just conflicted, so she said no, you know?
Yeah, and there's no way they can date after that. They shouldn't, like, for either sake. But I don't know. I felt like he was really trying. But at the same time, I do feel like they were on different pages, age-wise, lifestyle-wise. So I think there were issues there that they were just not
Showing.
addressing.
Or,
but
yeah, or we
she-
didn't see it.
She made that point of he didn't want me to push on things, so I didn't. But at the same time, I'm like, the point of this is to push on those things. Like in a regular relationship, you want to ease into those conversations, fine, but you have 5 weeks. Don't accept, he doesn't want me to push on politics or values or religion or whatever. It's like, those are important to you. Push on it. If it makes him uncomfortable,
Yeah.
that's too bad. Because if you're going to get married, you can't feel, I didn't talk about this enough because he didn't like it.
Well, now we are totally opposite in it.
I don't know if I would have felt this way before going through the process we went through, because now my whole mentality is just talk about the things. If you can't talk about the things, then you're obviously not in a relationship where you can communicate, and that's a bigger overall issue. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have felt this way prior to it, but you don't go into a process like this and pussyfoot around things, because
You
what's the
can't,
point? You have
yeah.
5 weeks. You can't.
Yeah.
5 weeks is less than 8. We barely did it in 8.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think at 5 weeks, I like knew what.
Well, yeah, but because
But I feel like we
did the things.
did the thing. Well, and I don't know. Like, the last 3 were definitely like needed too, though, you know, to figure everything
Yeah, like
out.
what were they talking about in the pods? They showed us 100 more episodes of the pods this season, and I still feel like we don't know what anyone talked about because it wasn't anything important.
I fast forward. I don't even watch half of them. I'm like, let's get to the trip. Let's get to when they come out and they see each other. Like the proposals I'll
Yeah.
watch.
Then Taylor and Daniel
Surprise
surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But adorable. Adorable.
They're so cute, and I love their families. I could like see them going on like
Yeah.
family trips together, and his freaking sister like being blind and like singing at the wedding.
Sobbing.
It's just so sweet that she is blind, and then they got married on Love Is
Yeah.
Blind.
I cried so much last night, but that was
Yeah, they're
so when
sweet.
she sang down the aisle. It was
She's really
so
good.
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought that was great how accepting everyone was. And I love how they're like, we're the Christmas couple. I'm like, okay, that's
You are
just so sweet.
Yeah.
It's sweet. They're very sweet. And I think for all of the other bullshit that this show has brought up, even if it's one couple, that's what makes it worth it and worth watching because they are such a good couple.
They are. They're just cute, and they talked about all the things. They did all the things, you know.
They talked about the things. And I do actually love that they waited to consummate their marriage, but they were both on the same page of this will happen. We just were waiting because
That was my like
it's only been 5 weeks.
favorite part. What a way to end.
Yeah.
When they were like
Yeah.
Operation Consummation.
Consummation.
Yeah, they just
That
like
was
they have
very
good
cute.
witty banter with each other, which is I love.
Yeah.
That's like so sweet.
I do wonder if he really did unfollow her on Instagram and it just didn't pull up on the app. We'll never know.
I know. Yeah, that's
I
funny.
don't really care, but I did laugh when that scene played because I'm like, get the phone out. If she says, first of all, girl, why do you have the app? Like, do we care who's unfollowing you?
We ain't Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Well, when that happened at first, I was like, okay. I thought she was like a massive influencer or something. Like I went to her page thinking like, okay, is this like she has like 500,000 followers or something, and she's like has this app to look for the creeps that are like.
Even like, who cares?
I'm like, why do you have this app? It's weird.
Yeah. But I love the producer was like, we can get you your phone.
Oh, they were like,
Yeah.
here you go, here you go. Like they like
Yeah.
literally ran in with it. I was like, oh, they love this. This is like the producers are living for this. Someone's like,
Yeah.
Jay's in the background, like somebody get the phone. Somebody get the phone, Montre.
It's like Wi-Fi. And to get your phone back after that experience in general must be crazy. She probably had 8,000 messages and she's like, hold on, I got to go through and look for my unfollowers.
I don't even realize that they don't. Do they just not get their phones the whole time? Oh, when they move in, they get it
Yeah,
back.
until after the honeymoon. So they have to come back from a honeymoon and then that's when shit hits the fan really. But another thing I don't understand about the show is how do people know, like even if her theory was correct, that he did follow her and knew who she was, how do people know who's on the show? Like that girl who did the TikTok about Ben? I don't know, they're all the same. But the girl who did the TikTok, how do you know that he was on the show and is currently filming it? Like how do people know that?
It's got to just be like a weird game of telephone where someone's friend know that how many weeks did they leave for? Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, the whole thing is 5 weeks.
I'm sure they're not supposed to tell people that they're going, but I'm sure they do. They're like, I'm going to film Love Is Blind or whatever. Or you would think they would have to say like, I'm going to film a show. And then maybe they got all the ads. Yeah, maybe they
What
got,
ads?
you get all the ads like now casting in your area or
Oh.
whatever. So they're like, people like know when they're filming. Which also, do they ever film in Nashville? Like, I'm very confused by that.
No, they never have.
They had ads
But-
and stuff for casting Nashville season a long time ago. And
Really?
everyone's been like, did they actually film here? Or like, what are we doing? Yeah.
Maybe they just do like casting to see who has the better pool. Because how did you land on Minneapolis? Minneapolis, that's where it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did they land on Minneapolis of all places?
Yeah. They got the
I'd
right
love to know, but-
applications coming in.
That's what I would imagine. But I'm very interested for this reunion because to your earlier point, the reunion, you've seen yourself, you've seen some of the episodes at least, you've seen things on social media, you've seen how people act, you think more about it. Because when you're in the 5-week bubble, I would imagine you're like, whatever, nothing else matters. But then the weddings happen, things start coming in, you start analyzing. So I'm very interested to see what receipts are coming out. The girl Madison's coming with receipts. I don't want her on my TV either. I'm sorry.
I loved her at first, and then I was like, I get weird
Yeah.
vibes. Yeah, I'm still stuck on like, I don't know how like Dave's whole family knew about this one guy that she was potentially dating before. Like, how did they get all this information?
I guess to your point, people say like or he would tell his friends and family he's going on a show, and then maybe they were all talking about like, oh, Dave's engaged to this girl, Lauren, and then their mutual friends told this guy, and he's like, my Lauren is how I imagine this happening. But
and he's like, well, that's
that whole
true. I
thing
haven't
was-
talked to Lauren. She's disappeared 4 or 5 weeks ago. It must be her.
But that whole situation is so crazy to me. I'm like, you're looking for an excuse
This
not
guy.
to get married. And I thought his issue was going to be looks. And not that she's not beautiful, because she definitely is, but I thought because he was focusing so much on, I work in the aesthetics field and looks are very important to me. And I'm trying not to be a douche lord anymore, but here we are. And I thought truly that would be his issue, but I guess he's just in love with his sister. I don't know. Like, it kept creeping me out that she was so prevalent.
He felt kind of dumb to me. Like some of the stuff he'd say, like when he said something about plants. Damn it. I gotta like go back. He was like, plants are like, you know, people have plants because of this. And I was like, what is he talking about? Like this guy just seems kind of dumb. Like he just is funny.
I think he's relied on his looks and his like, I'm a cool guy swagger for so long that he doesn't have to really use his intellect. But
because it's
I felt really bad
low.
for her. It's not there.
Yeah,
I felt so bad because she was so sweet and she was trying to make it work way more than she should have. And again, another one who had to keep explaining herself. Like, I'm sorry,
I'm trying
you
to
don't
put her
know
with
you're
Ben.
going on this show.
She needs to be with Ben.
Oh, maybe.
I think
It
they would
just
be
felt
cute.
like she was being shamed for having a life before him. But I don't know what their lead time is, but you don't know you're going on the show pretty much probably until they tell you, hey, pack up your shit. You're going to LA to start being in these
That's
pods.
exactly what I said when I saw it. I was like, she probably found out like 1 week prior. They like,
Yeah.
she probably maybe like was casting and was like, well, maybe I could. But in the middle of that, like you don't actually think that you're going to be picked. I never like
Right.
thought I was getting picked. I was like, there's no way. Like there's so many people that apply for this. And then she was probably like, oh shit, I'm picked.
Right.
And then she just was like, okay, amazing. Like I'm up for it.
Yeah. And if you think about traditional relationships, usually people are dating and then they go on a first date with whoever will be their future spouse and then they become exclusive and that's that. But there's usually other people in the picture before. So it's insane to think it would be different if people break up with their boyfriend or girlfriend to go in the pods. Like, hey, boyfriend, girlfriend, we're over because I'm going to go see if I can find someone else. But that to me is sketch.
And
but
like a
not the
serious
case.
relationship. Like she was just like said
Well,
several
yeah.
times she was just kind of hanging out with this guy and it was like a situationship. Like it wasn't even
Yeah.
a thing. And he would not like, I don't know. Maybe it would, again, I always say maybe it was editing. I don't know. But it felt like it was like beating a dead horse. Like, okay, you're continuing to stay mad. The reason I feel like it's probably not editing is because she was even saying like, can we just drop this? I feel like you keep bringing it,
Yeah.
rehashing it, and there's nothing else we can do about it. Can we like move on?
And she was willing to confront his friends and family and tell her that she was just sleeping with this guy, which to me, like, no, defend your fiance and be like, she doesn't have to explain herself to you. I would be mortified if Chris was like, let me explain my sexual history to your friends and
So
family.
weird.
So
Yeah, let's not
so
talk about
weird.
it at all. Like the fact that she kept having to talk about it too. She's probably
Yeah.
like, I don't want my friends and family having to like hash into this all the
Right.
time. Can we just like drop it, bro?
I did love though that when she spoke to Molly at the group gathering, because at first I think they made it seem a little like, oh, maybe he's going to see Molly and be like, ooh, Molly. But she was like, absolutely not. Like, I'm your girl. I don't care about him. I'm happy we didn't match. So that made me very happy because in the past, you know, the group gatherings have not gone over so well.
Yeah, you know, they're both like, yeah, this guy's like kind of dumb, honestly. He's like an airhead.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish I could remember the things he said. I should have taken note of this before we got on here because it was one thing about plants and then something.
the plants.
Yeah, I have to figure it out. We'll have to post it on Instagram, like the quote of it, because I was like, this guy. I'm like, is he just searching for things to say? It reminds me of like the Jessica Simpson, the chicken of the
tuna?
sea thing. Yeah, he said
Yeah.
something, and I was like, ugh. I would have hoped that they're not editing that in. Like that sounded so dumb. It's like me talking about the flag when we went to Jamaica. I was like, oh my God, are we going to the Bahamas? And everyone was like, that's a Jamaican flag. And I was like, let's leave that
It's
out.
hard.
Let's not share that
okay.
one.
They were like, no, we're going to focus in on this.
Exactly.
But I think that wraps up our Love is Blind thoughts. We'll have more after the reunion,
Yep.
but underwhelming season overall, I will say. Not underwhelming. Married at First Sight. I need to take a deep breath because it is angering.
I mean, I know like we were typecast as the boring season. And after watching the last two after us, I'm like, okay, I would rather be so like I would rather be a snooze fest because last season was just toxic Like
Yeah.
everyone hated each other, and this season is just creeping me out.
Literally
It's
the
like a
ick.
I have I'm like creeped.
Yeah.
It
And
gives me yeah, it does give me the
it
ick.
gives me the ick. And I feel bad.
Unfortunate.
I always feel bad because, we feel bad talking about the show because we've been there, but this was less about the show and more about the behavior of the people that I'm sorry, we've been edited. We know what that feels like. A lot of this was not editing. A lot of this was
Like the things that
true
you're literally
behaviors.
saying, like that aren't like
Yeah.
for mine, like the Gingergate, right? We get it. Like I said something weird, but they were leading me to say that
Right.
word,
Right.
and they were asking different ways to say it. But some of this stuff is like almost showing off. Like reclining Dave was like my guy for a while, and now some of the stuff he says, I'm like, can you not like talk about how you want to eat somebody up on camera? Like we're good. Like whoa, I don't want to hear it.
And I will say, just overall with David and Madison, I said this last episode, I'll say it now. I truly do not care that they are together. Yes, they went about it absolutely the wrong way, but they don't really have loyalty to Michelle and Alan, except for during the filming process. Like when you're still filming with this person, unless you decide to split up early on, like you have loyalty to at least
Like
see
see
it
it
through
through.
with them.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not going to do that, fine. But if you are going to do that, keep it in your pants for 8 weeks. But I don't care that they want to be together. And honestly, if they are still together and are very happy and whatever, I think that's a cool story because they went into this wanting to meet someone and they did. So them being in a relationship does not bother me. I honestly don't care. But A, the way they went about it, disgusting. B, the way they're acting now is so immature. It felt like a high school relationship. Like the slurping, the ice cream. I can't get that sound out of my head. Like the eating with the spoon.
Like
Like, you want your
I had for
dessert?
guess what
Oh,
I had for breakfast? Like, oh, I don't want to know. I don't want to know
disgusting.
that ever. Like, oh, sorry. It's already making me so uncomfortable. I don't want to know that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want even my friends to be like sitting and talking like that in front of me. Like the fact that you have a
Right.
camera crew and you're openly talking dirty to each other is like weird. I don't know if that made her uncomfortable too, but that would be
I
an
would think so.
immediately like red flag for me. I'd be like, this is like I don't want to be talking about this right now in front of like JB and all our
Right.
friends that are around. This is weird.
And it's not even about being a prude so much as it felt very performative. Like we
Yes.
want everyone to know we're into each other and we're sexual. Like you're getting a tattoo. Let's talk about having sex on a Ferris wheel and the espresso drink with the I want to eat you up. Like I was embarrassed for that nice restaurant. It looked like a nice restaurant that they did that. And we get it. You guys are together. Cool. But we don't need to see you being gross. Oh, we're not gonna sleep tonight. Okay. Again, we get it. Why are you performing for the cameras? What are you trying to prove?
It was weird. It was weird.
It's creepy.
Because the situation, if you think about it, is like I was in a similar situation during our season. Like,
Yeah.
Mac and I maybe were like, we feel like a little chemistry, but obviously he was out of his relationship in 3 days. But I like wanted to see the process through, and it wasn't until after decision day that we were like, okay, maybe we could like go on a date and see if there's something there. It's like I still, even though Clint and I both knew like that we were gonna say no on decision day, it's like, okay, well, still just kind of out of respect, let's just wait a
Right.
couple weeks. Like, not a big deal.
And you both got Dom and Clint's blessing, even though you didn't really need it, but it's just a respect thing, like you said, because we did all go through it together. So you guys went about it the right way. There's nothing wrong with having feelings for someone else, and you can't control who you have feelings for, but how you act on it is totally in your control. Oh, and the warehouse,
It was weird.
I was horrified. I knew from the start of this season, I said it from day one, there was something about Madison I did not like. And I really think it comes down to her immaturity. Like Michelle, I still have my feelings about her. She was not good to David. I don't think anyone needs to say that she caused this or whatever, but she was not good to him. Like
Well, and it was very
we can all
obvious
agree.
they weren't going to work out. Like people knew very
Yeah.
quickly that Clint and I weren't going to work out. Like it was very obvious. So I mean, her being like infidelity, like I think it's a little dramatic.
much.
Like you clearly didn't like him. You guys weren't going to work out, but it should have at least been spoken about, even if you wanted to see the process through. Like, hey, let's try to get through this, but like I'm texting somebody else too. Like I don't know, like whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. Like it was clearly hidden, but I feel like she's now kind of, I mean, again, I never know editing, but I feel like she was almost acting like this big infidelity thing happened and she'd been married and in love with this man for 2 years and couldn't believe that it happened to her. Like,
Yeah, which is insane. And I feel like if they confronted her and said, listen, it's not working between us, it's not working between Madison and Alan, we have feelings, she would have been like, okay, cool. But I agree. Like the lying, it doesn't matter if you didn't like him or not. The lying sucks
it's
because
weird. Yeah.
she trusted her. I did also get a little ick from like, you were my friend. You were my friend. Like you've known each other less than 8 weeks. You're coworkers right now. You're filming a show together. We were all friendly.
Yeah.
We developed friendships, but we continued those friendships after filming ended. Like we're
Right.
friends because we started a base
And we like
continued it.
nurtured that. Yeah, for sure.
Right. And it is shitty that Madison or Michelle would talk to Madison about David and then Madison would be like, yeah, knowing this in the back of her head. But I didn't like, you were supposed to be my friend.
Not really.
Not really. Like it's shitty regardless, but I feel like everyone was just taking this very extremely, but I did not think it was appropriate for Madison to, she was being so mature, like, babe, and like, grow up. You
Yeah.
are not someone who should be getting married, especially to a stranger, when you can't even have a conversation about something that you did.
Yeah, she's getting so defensive, like she didn't do anything wrong. Because I get it. In her defense, she's like, well, you didn't even like him. Okay, that's great, but like it still isn't a reason to just like lie about it and have a secret relationship and still act like you're in the process. Because you're just, if anything, people are pissed that you're wasting each other's time. Like I think that's probably, I think Michelle's most pissed that her time was just wasted because she's trying to see it through, even though knowing it's probably not going to work. She's still like, okay, well, I'm still like just trying to be here potentially, like I was, like if something potentially sparks. But at that point, if Clint was behind my back texting Dom the whole time, I was like, well, damn, why? I would have been doing something else for the last 4 weeks instead of like filming with you. This is stupid. So
Exactly.
I think it's that. And I think she's probably just a little butthurt that like they found love and she came in and did the process and didn't get to leave in love with somebody.
I mean,
that sucks.
You can see that even at the end, she was like, and here's little old me, still single. And I get it. No one went into this knowing that, but to throw it in her face and Alan's face too, even though he was less vocal, but you're together. You don't have to bring it out in front of everyone when it's so fresh. Just keep it to yourselves for a little bit.
I would have declined that filming altogether.
Yeah.
You know, if they wanted me to go to the warehouse and I actually truly say this scenario was Mac and I, like even at that point, I think I would probably, even if we did all the things right and we developed feelings for each other and decided to be together, if someone was hurt by that, I think that I'd be like, hey, I think it's best to probably take some time and not like rub this in everyone's face. And be like, well, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
We're doing what we doing. We don't care. Like getting ghetto on them about it.
You can do whatever you want outside of filming, but not only is it uncomfortable for your ex-spouses, but for everyone else. I feel like we don't even know anything about Camille and Thomas as a couple because that would have been a time to celebrate them, to, you know, be excited that they all finished the process, but it was just Michelle and Madison fighting. So I did respect that David was like, let me take us out of this situation because it's not productive. But I've also said this before, but I'm sorry, Madison, do not drink anymore. You are obviously someone who does not know her limit. And it's no judgment because I've been there, especially in my 20s, which she was, I guess, up until that episode. But if you really want to be married and have a healthy relationship, getting drunk and acting like a jerk is just not the vibe. So
yeah, that's one scenario she probably definitely needed to stay sober to just maintain the maintain the peace. Weird.
It was just so uncomfy. And then the whole rest of it, like with the I love yous and all the balloons, like who are we proving this to?
That scene where they were all together again, where he was like, "What up, I'm Brandon," like coming in hot. I was like, this feels like
we'll get to them.
It felt like a really weird season of like a really like, well, not weird because The Office is weird, but it felt like an episode of The Office. Like I was like, what is happening here? Like this all feels weird and like somewhat showy and just icky.
Speaking of Brandon and Imem, again, I need to take another deep breath. I kept going back and forth who was giving me the bigger ick, Madison or this Brandon guy, because I still feel like we're missing some context. It seemed like they had a class together 20 plus years ago and they've reconnected on social media, but it also seemed like her cousin knew him maybe. So I got the feeling that they have not seen each other though in 20 plus years. Did you get that same feeling?
Yeah.
from the second I saw him, I was like, he wants to be on TV. He is love bombing her and he wants to be on TV. And why are they always matching? Why are they always matching?
All the time. Every
Why?
scene. Yeah.
All the time.
Do you think they're like, babe, what are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
Probably.
They have
Whose
to.
idea is it?
They have to.
I think she wants to be loved so badly, and she should. I mean, everyone wants to be loved, but I think she came out of this really toxic relationship, got what she needed in someone else, and kind of just swapped him in there. And I hate that because that's what Ikichi was saying the entire season, was that she just wanted a plug and play husband.
And it ended up.
That's what it feels
and
like.
he said that at the end. He was like, and that's exactly what she got. I was like, ooh.
And
Mic
here's another
drop.
one. Like, nothing that's happening now excuses his behavior. Same way that the David and Madison thing does not excuse Michelle's behavior. Like, Ikechi was bad in his own right and very toxic. So it doesn't excuse it, but he was right in that sense. She just wants to be married. And the way he's going about it, like, how many dates did you go on before he proposed 17 times? And who paid for that ring? He's living on a couch. Who bought the 4-carat diamond? Because the show definitely did not pay for it.
I missed the couch. He's living on a couch?
On their first date, she was like, which I also love, he's like, oh, what's your marital status? How long were you together? You know what she's filming because they have cameras on you.
So weird.
You had to know what was being filmed. But she said, like, where do you live, whatever. And he said he's living on his sister's couch because he's going through a divorce and he has 2 kids.
But wasn't the divorce for like the last 2 years or something?
I guess he's been going through the divorce. He didn't give more context to how long he's been living there, if he's looking for a new house. But I think he saw a woman who wanted a husband with a nice apartment and cameras following her and was like, yes, 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 yes.
I'm in. Carla knew it.
Yeah.
Carla felt
She's
that.
the best.
She felt that energy. She was like, no.
It screams red flaggy.
Yeah, you can't be the only light.
And then the proposing 17 times. If you really loved her and wanted to be with her,
You'd wait.
and you could tell she left. He was doing his OTF, so she was outside. They called her back in. It was like, go stand next to your whatever. And then he proposed on camera. So if that's not performative, I don't know what is. And it was so icky. And the ring shopping, and then he proposed again.
What's worse, the like, we all hate each other, we're super fucking boring, or we're just creeps. Like, I don't understand and I don't like it.
I think this is worse. I'll tell you why. Because even with Denver, they all hated each other, but they technically didn't pick each other. So you can't expect everyone to like each other. Same with our season and every other season. You know, it's not like you and Clint were a couple that they were just following and then you were like, we don't really like each other. But they matched you. So you have little control over it in that sense. But with this, it's like you guys are acting like weirdos after your relationship ended. So what does that say about you as a person? And I have no issue with her. I feel like, truthfully, she's just so vulnerable right now and she's clinging to the first thing that feels good. But he is just such a creep. And I saw the preview. Did you see the preview for the reunion where he asks Pastor Cal to marry them?
You're like, well, that probably ain't going to work because you're still married.
Right.
It took how long for our divorce stuff to go through? Like,
they've already been married for over a year and they can't start their divorce until, I guess now they can start it because everyone knows they're not together. Did you have to wait until after everything was finished airing to file?
Yeah, after everything was done.
Yeah, so they still have to wait to even start to file. So Pastor Cal can't marry you, but I pray to God Pastor Cal has the good sense to be like, I will not marry you and we need to talk about why this is happening because this is freaking weird.
Y'all are weird.
Oh, and even, oh my God, I just remembered when Ikechi walked in and he was like, who is that? Oh, that's your ex. Oh, you anxious? He caused so much anxiety. And he's like, what's up, man? I'm Brandon. And then Ikechi was like, hey, bro. And he sits down. He's like, oh, sorry, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm actually Mem's fiance. He was like,
okay, congrats. I knew her for 3 days.
He was expecting a rise out of him and for him to be like, yeah, beating on his chest, like, I'm her fiance. And Ikechi was like, that's cool, bro.
Awesome, man. Like, we literally kissed one time, probably. That's awesome.
What was he expecting? And he's like wiping schmutz off her shirt in the background. He's making out with her while she's about to go talk to Ikechi. Like, what?
Meanwhile,
again, who are we proving things to?
Our favorite cameraman is in the back just like taking it all in.
JB, if you're out there, please come on our podcast and tell us what it was like to be a fly on the wall during all of this.
I wish. I don't know what kind of contracts they sign.
Yeah, he probably can't.
They're like, I will stay in the dark. for life. Yeah.
It's so icky.
Uncomfy still.
It's icky. And again, it was a situation like we're celebrating Thomas's birthday. We barely got to say happy birthday to him or congratulations on being married and moving in together because we were watching Brandon perform for the camera and Madison making dirty jokes. Like, too soon.
Oh yeah,
Too soon,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. What did she say? Like this, I think she said smash and dash, and she was like the one
Smash
that
and
you're like,
dash, yeah.
you can't do that
Yeah.
yet.
No, like wait a week.
Everyone's just like,
Interesting choice of words, Madison. But I did love that Alan was like, I'm fine. I'm out here meeting girls. Like, I think he, more than anything, was just annoyed that his time was wasted and that he
Exactly.
was toyed with. I don't think he really liked her as much as he seemed to like her. I think he was just like, this is cool and you're my wife. You should expect when you marry a stranger that they're at least trying to get to know you, even if it's not romantically. Like, I know you and Clint were not, you knew that there was no spark there, but I think it was fair that both of you expected each other to at least try, which is what you did. It didn't work, but I feel like he did what is normal. It's normal for him to be like, this woman who keeps saying she could see a future with me is trying to make it work when she wasn't.
yeah, it's a waste. It's just a waste of time. It's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? And then I was also like a little perturbed that David kept being like, can we be friends? Like, no. And Madison too. Like,
Why?
I just want to sit down and like have some closure. Like, I literally knew you for 1.5 minutes. Like, no, you've already wasted my time.
Yeah.
We're never going to be friends.
Who is that closure for? That's for you.
It's for you to feel better about your
Yeah.
actions, not for him. You're just still wasting more of his time.
Right.
That and David, like always trying to shake his hand. I'm like, he doesn't want to shake your hand. Quit reaching out for his hand. Leave his hand alone. Like, we're done. Like,
You were not friends. You don't need to continue.
You don't
Even
have to
Juan
shake
and Carla,
hands.
When Juan is like, I want to be friends, that's nice, but why? You guys were barely friends. You weren't friends before this. You were married, sure, but you didn't want to be together. Why do you need to be getting coffee monthly? You can be friendly.
Yeah.
Like when you and Clint see each other, it's normal, but you're not like, hey, let me call Clint and go get brunch with him. Like, why?
It's so weird because people ask me that a lot. Because when you hear the word divorce, even if it's like from the show, they're like, ooh, divorce. Like, it's unheard of that we could actually be like acquaintances and fine. But they're like, oh, so if y'all are like, do y'all hang out? I'm like, no, like, why would we need to hang out? We're both in separate relationships,
Right.
and that would be super awkward for our significant others out of the respect for
Yeah.
even them to be like, hey, want to come hang out with my ex-husband from this show that we didn't stay together
No.
because we had no chemistry and attraction, but we still want to be like friends, so let's all go do something. That's so weird. Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not going to
weird.
happen. Yeah, friendly acquaintances I'm fine with, but you have very minimal free time as an adult. Like, you're not going to invest it in someone that you did that experience with. It'd be weird.
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, we could still be friends. Why? You weren't friends before. You were coworkers. You were acquaintances.
We said on the after party, like, because they went, you know, you go through such an experience together that you're like, and I do think like you're never going to experience that with anyone else. And so
Yeah.
that is cool, but it doesn't mean that you need to continue nurturing a friendship after. You just will
Right.
never forget that person as someone that you went through this crazy experience and learned a lot from. But it would be so awkward to try to like be buddies after, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially add in being in a relationship. Like, how do you even justify that? Like, that'd be so weird. My boyfriend would be like, what? I don't know
Why?
why. That's weird.
Why? Yeah, I don't know. But I guess at that point, they're still just going through the motions. Like, we should be friends because we were friends. But in a few weeks, they'll be like, we were never friends. And
Yeah.
we won't see each other
They're just
except
in
for
the,
filming. And
in the
that's
thick of
okay.
it. In the thick of it.
Yeah. When you're in the filming bubble, nothing else, even work, life, family is secondary. It's like I film, I'm in this process, and then everything else. So I feel like everyone, regardless of how it ended, you feel a little lost. Like I remember when we were done filming, I think it was right after decision day, they filmed me moving out and they were like, okay, bye. And we're like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Didn't you feel like it was a little like, oh, so I can just go back home and do my own thing? It's like you're so used to someone telling you where to be, when to be there, what to do. It's like, oh, I don't know how to react.
And you're in this, like, for Juan and Carla and like Clint and I, you are in a forced friendship because you're not staying together. So you've been forced to be friends that entire 8 weeks. It's kind of like, oh, wait, but you're my friend. Aren't I
Right.
supposed to be around you? Like, what do we do now? And so
Yeah, so we just don't see each other
it's
anymore.
like second nature to be like, well, maybe I should call Clint. Like, aren't we supposed to be doing something together today? Or even each other. Like, it takes time now for all of us to get together and be friends. And so it's like we have those friendships, but we're not hanging out out near as much as we were forced to hang out when we were filming. So yeah, I think it's probably just stuck in that bubble of like, but you're my friend. Like we hang out every day.
Like we're not filming a scene tomorrow. Oh, we're just gonna hang out like wherever we want. So yeah, I think there's that element of it just feels expected.
Stuck in the bubble, yeah.
Yeah, but they'll get over it. And I love Juan and Carla separately. I love them together. I'm happy they were the voice of reason, truthfully, because someone needs to call out all this bullshit. And I was really impressed that they were like, none of this is cool and we need to hold you accountable. What good friends.
I don't even know if I'm like allowed to share this, but whatever. It's tomorrow. Ooh. It's tomorrow. So I will be on the, it used to be called Cast Tell All, but now I think it's Secrets Revealed. Has it always been called that?
It used to be referred to as the Cast Tell All, but maybe that's the official title for it. Yeah. But yes, everyone watch Gina on your TV tomorrow, Tuesday, the 11th.
Yeah, I was, I didn't even know when it was airing. I think the MAFS fan on Instagram.
Yeah.
Is the one that shares.
She
tells me everything. She keeps me updated. And mind you, we'll just get into this because I don't know if we'll talk about it again, but like I had started semaglutide. I wasn't like trying to lose a ton of weight, but I love it. Like I could be an ad for semaglutide because it truly removes all your inflammation. But you're supposed to like eat healthy and take it the night before. Well, I took it the day that I think I flew out there for like less than 24 hours. So I took it in the morning, didn't drink any water.
That was your first dose, right?
It was my
like your first time taking it?
Second time. So the first time I did it right. The second time I like took it in the morning, ended up flying, didn't drink any water, didn't really eat all day because I wasn't hungry. And then I remember I went out to eat with a couple of the guys that are also on the Secrets Revealed from past seasons. I won't tell you guys that. But I like had half of a spicy margarita and like some buffalo sliders or something. It's like just not good. We ate at like 9 p.m. And I woke up violently ill at like 3 a.m. throwing up. And I was like, oh my God, I have to film. Like, what am I going to? And I was sick. Like I felt like stomach bug sick from like probably 3 a.m. until like 6 or 7. Then I had to get ready. I had this like corset dress.
Oh my God.
They picked us up, I think at like 7:30 or 8. And we filmed until 5. And when I tell you the entire time, probably like 90% of it, I was like, I need to get up and throw up like right now.
Did you
get
up and throw up?
No, I was like, how did I like the willpower of the mind? Like I was able to not, but they even ordered us lunch. It was one of those feelings where if I took a sip of water, I felt like I was going to vomit. I think Monterey went and got me ginger ale at one point because I was like, I'm not sick. It's like Ozempic pretty much. But I was like, but I'm dying. So I'm interested.
And then what do? You can't call out. You can't be like, sorry, I can't film.
Yeah, I had to do it. And right when I got back to the hotel room, I threw up. Like I literally ran to the bathroom and threw up immediately. Stayed there all day. It was the first time that I met 12 other people. Something like that. I think there were maybe 8 of us total, but people from the other season, and all I wanted to do was like crawl up in a ball on the couch. I think they felt so bad. They were like, this girl is not well. But it sucked. I wasn't able to like really get to know everyone, and filming was tough because I was like, am I going to throw up? Am I going to answer this question? Or I need to throw up. Like that's all I could think about. You're like tight in a dress and the lights are all on you. I'm intrigued to see what I actually look like on the episode. We'll see. So if you guys are watching it and you're like, what's wrong with Gina? I was like,
why is she green?
Felt like a stomach bug.
But poor thing.
That whole time, you know, when you go into these episodes, even like after parties, you don't really know what you're speaking to. So we were kind of speaking on the Chicago season, but none of us had seen any. We didn't even know who they were. Like I didn't know their names. And they're like, well, what Madison and so did. And I'm like, yeah.
They didn't even show you clips ahead of time?
No clips, nothing. So they kind of gave us like a little rundown of like what happened, like 2 people from like they like wife swapped or whatever. So in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of like what happened with me going on a date with Mac. But I didn't know their names. I didn't really watch even previews of anything. Like I didn't know any of these people who were on the season. Like I had never done any digging prior. So I'm like, so Michelle and Madison, like, I don't know. We're all like answering, but none of us know what's really happened. So I'm interested to see like how we respond if it's like too casual for what actually happened because we don't know what happened. We were just kind of trying to speak on it. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, I wonder if that was calculated. Like, oh, Gina, what do you think about a couple like dating after? And you're like, yeah, totally fine. Like that seems, like whatever, live your life. And then they show them like making out over ice cream and you're like, yeah, it's casual.
Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be on. I didn't even know these people's names. I'm like,
don't be mad at Gina if she says stuff that sounds silly. Okay.
Yeah, don't be mad because
Oh my
I
God.
don't really know. Like I can't even put a face to a name. I don't know who these people are.
That's so funny.
All I know is I got to throw up. That's it.
Well, I'm excited to watch it. I think that'll be really fun to see you on the TV again and see you interact.
It's so crazy when you've gone through, and I'm sure Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, everyone feels like this, but it's crazy when you've gone through this type of experiment because it's like, even for the people that it works or it doesn't work, like you all have this weird understanding. It's almost like you're from the same place, you know, like I just vibe with people from Memphis because they get it. Like they're from Memphis. So when you put everyone in a room, and we had like season 1 through 17 in the room.
Oh, wow.
And so when you put all of us in the room, it was really cool, regardless of like me feeling like complete crap that day. But it was cool to like hear everyone's perspectives, and we all just immediately felt really close. Like you're like, oh, you've been through
love
this. Like I
that.
get it. So it is cool. It's nice to meet people from other seasons because you've like went through the war together, you know,
Yeah.
or separately.
But a little like different
get it.
wars.
Yeah.
Almost you were in the same sorority and you pledged it and you went through all the hazing, but at separate times. Like you've experienced it, but a little different.
And you've all experienced like what it feels like to film and go through that process, like and like the field production. But then you've also all experienced watching yourself on TV with like no warning, like no previous watching it. And so you've gone through that and the social media trolls, and like you've felt it all. So it's this general understanding among the room, which kind of ties everybody together. Like you feel like you're automatically friends. So it was fun.
Cool. I know. I want to go back. They probably want to invite me back because I think after how vocal I've been on this podcast specifically, I think they're like, we don't need you on our show. But
I think that
if
they
wanna
love
have me
that.
back, I'd love it.
I think they love that. And I
so.
think that, I mean, I'm pretty sure they talked about our podcast when I was there. They like loved that we were doing it because we're staying involved and invested.
Yeah.
If anything, we're
It was
pushing.
so boring.
They probably love that we're like pushing like, you know, ratings to the show.
Yeah.
They're like,
Go
yeah,
watch the
go
show,
watch the
this is
show, talk
crazy.
about it. Yeah. So
That's funny.
it was fun.
Well, cool. Everyone, make sure you watch Gina tomorrow on the Secrets Revealed special.
I'll be watching
She's
it for the
green.
first time with you guys.
Yeah.
Trust me, I haven't seen even a preview for it yet, so don't know when those will
Well,
air.
you'll have to talk about it next week if there's anything juicy. But besides that, everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of D-List Diaries. We hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment, leave a review if you can,
Ooh.
and tune in next week. Yeah, review
We
us.
love
Tell
a
us how
review.
fabulous we
Yeah.
are. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.